What's up, guys? Early Stoppage MMA here. Today we're going to be going through our picks for sort of the best prospects in each weight class. Um, yeah, you ready to get into this?
Yeah, man, this is gonna be a good one.
Let's do it. All right, starting out with flyweight, we chose Ray Saruya. Do you want to take this away? You're a bigger Ray
Yeah,
head than
I
me.
I I I do enjoy myself a good Saruya. He's in flyweight. It was kind of a weird spot. A year ago, it would have been super easy to put Joshua Van there, but you can't really call the number one contender a prospect anymore.
You
It's kind of
cannot.
a weird thing.
Yeah,
Loner Kavanaugh was the honorable mention here when I was looking into these guys. I It's really tough. I really like Ray Saruya though. I've had
yeah.
more fun watching his fights. His debut fight against Carlos Hernandez was one of the greatest. I remember texting you about it. I was laying on the couch
Super
watching it, and I was
pumped.
like, "Dude, are you watching this shit? This is insane." And it wasn't even a striking battle. It was all just scrambles. It was nuts. And then after that, he had his first loss to Joshua Van, which is, in my opinion, a very understandable, okay loss.
Yeah, not bad at
Uh,
all.
and 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 it wasn't even a terrible fight. It's not like he got super dominated or anything.
Hmm.
Um, and he stayed awake, which is pretty sick against Joshua Van. So I'm a huge fan of Ray Saruya. I wish that he would fight more. I feel like he's fairly inactive. That's the only part that is not my favorite. He fights about once a year, but that's okay. I think he was supposed to fight in August. That fight got canceled, but
Hmm.
it happens. I'm excited for what comes for this guy. I think there's a lot of fun fights, and the grappling will really help him out against some of these guys.
Yeah, it's also cool because he's like 23, so like he
Oh,
is
he's so
so
young.
young and has so much room to continue to grow. And I think we saw that, like, again, going to a decision with Joshua Van, pretty fucking impressive. Um, yeah, what's not to like about what we see with this guy? His grappling is great. He's got decent striking. You know what I mean? He's not like Tatsuro
Yeah.
Taira, just to make another Japanese comparison, where Tatsuro Taira just does not have the striking for how good his grappling is. Racer Ryu is just a
Yeah.
bit more well-rounded. So yeah, pretty exciting.
With the
I
age
I
too,
look.
yeah. But he has a lot, I think, in the future for him.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Would love to see more from this guy. Can't wait to see more from this guy. I guess I should say. So, moving on to bantamweight, we have Malcolm Wellmaker. I'm gonna have you take this one away.
Okay, yeah, no, dude. This is another weight class where there's a lot of prospects, guys that like we didn't want to pick a bunch of ranked guys, even though probably some of them you could call prospects. But no, Malcolm Wellmaker, we've all seen the clips. He has the social media presence, awesome, which is pretty cool. But no, this guy knocks people out at 35. Striking looks insane. Solid grappling, solid wrestling, solid scrambles. But that power at 35 is just unheard of. And every matchup think of this guy is fun, right? Like everyone was calling for the Taporia matchup against, or well, let me rephrase, against his brother, Alexandre Taporia.
Mm-hmm.
But no, dude, this guy's cool. I mean, this guy's he's a cool dude too outside of the octagon, but just overall exciting to watch.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes because the UFC really is starting to do that thing that they do with him, where they're starting to
Yep.
put all their eggs in one basket. And I think
Yep.
they're starting to see him as a potential star prospect, one of those guys that they really push, give favorable matchups to, and just plaster all over embedded. You know what I mean? Like that kind of
Yeah.
treatment for him. So it'd be interesting to see if he can live up to it. Because it kind of feels like as of late, a lot of prospects have not really been able to do that. Um,
That's for sure.
yeah, it'll be exciting to see going forward, I think.
Yeah, there's not much we can really say that like anybody watching this video knows who Malcolm Willmaker is and is very well acquainted with him. We all saw the knockout that he just had. Like this guy's a monster, and there's a ton of fun fights too. I mean, if you have anybody that can strike like that, you could put anybody there, and it's an entertaining fight immediately. So I agree. I think that this guy is one of the top prospects, and I think that the UFC should push this guy. I
Yeah,
think that there's so many fun fights in the rankings for him.
yeah, no doubt. It'll be very cool to see where Malcolm Wellmaker goes from here. I'm excited for it. Moving on
Excited.
to the next fight at or fighter for flyweight. or no, featherweight, excuse me. Kevin Viejos. I love this guy. I'm not even gonna lie. This
The
guy,
boxing.
the boxing
The
is. I mean, it's
boxing.
like he boxes like Ilya Taporia,
Oh, it's
and
so
it's
good.
just like what's not to love about that? More of that in the UFC is just great. This dude fights also just kind of like he fights like an Australian, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like he's just got pretty good takedown defense and like competent grappling with just slick fucking striking and boxing that's
Oh,
like accurate, brutal. He works the body. Oh, it's yeah. Actually throws uppercuts. Like this guy rules. He's very entertaining. I can foresee so many fun fights with this guy in the future, and I think he's gonna go far. I think he's gonna do really, really well. Also, the fact that he had a close ass fight with John Silva has just aged stupendously.
yeah, dude.
Yeah,
That contender series fight. He's been calling for the rematch too, which hey, I think it's about time we give this guy give him a shot up. But no, this guy's another. A lot of these fighters that we picked are just incredibly entertaining. Like they're all these. If you're in the UFC, you're fairly technical, especially in the lighter weight classes.
definitely.
But no, dude, these guys are all just exciting fights with exciting talent and exciting possibilities that also could get the belt one day. This guy reminds me of a little Ilya Taporia.
Yeah, I
Maybe not a little, but like a maybe a slightly less exciting Ilya Taporia.
yes.
It's crazy to even say that because Taporia is so exciting,
Yep.
and Vallejos is also very exciting. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to say. It's like I say mini Taporia, but they're the same size,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, it's just like another Taporia coming up in the rankings, and
Yeah.
this guy. He's always down to fight. If you see him on Twitter, he's always talking shit to someone trying to get the fight, and I love
Yeah.
it.
It's great. He's 23, just like the other
Oh, yeah.
folks that we're probably going to see in here. Common theme: young, so much room to improve and grow as a fighter. Super exciting. I think at some point he probably needs a couple more fights, but eventually give him Dan Ige and let's fucking see what he can do. Um,
Dude, that's a good one.
yeah, I'm excited to see where Kevin goes in the UFC. Moving on to lightweight, Nazim Sadikov. This guy fucking is awesome. I love this dude.
This guy's sick.
He's been so entertaining, like just a fight of the night machine. I feel like recently, yeah, just dangerous as shit. From striking to grappling, like he can finish people with submissions. More so a striker, but yeah, Nazim Sadikov is exciting. He's fun. I think he's young. I think he's pretty young. 31, not super young,
31.
but still, I think that Nazim Sadikov shows a lot more promise than some of the other up and comers. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
especially at lightweight, I think you kind of need that dominance and that wow factor to really show like you are going to make a statement in the division. It
Yeah.
takes an animal like that. And I think this
Bro,
dude is
this guy
just
that is the
awesome.
perfect thing to call this guy is an animal, bro. That last fight with against Nicholas Mata
Yeah.
might be fight of the year still to this day. And that thing was like I encourage all of you to go back and watch that fight, bro. If you did not catch that fight, I'm pretty sure that was on the Roundtree Hill card
Yep.
in where was that? Qatar? Where was that at? I'm trying to
I
remember.
don't remember. I think it was. Yeah, I
Something
think
like
it
that.
was. Yeah,
It was
it was
Qatar.
so
It was something or no, it was never mind, it don't matter. But
good.
dude, that fight was insane.
It was so good.
That was one of the
Yeah.
craziest fights of the night. It
Hmm.
was fight of the night of that night, and there was so many good fights.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Bro,
mean,
just
the fight with Terrence McKinney, he showed that he can hang with people who are also super dangerous and make it out alive and relatively unscathed. Like this dude has promise. He's fought a bunch of other dudes with good like contender records. We're talking guys that are like 9-1, 7-1, and he has just risen above them. It's
you know,
going to be very exciting to see what Nazim Sadikov can do in this division.
100%. No, I'm super excited. Every time that he gets a fight announced, it's like, okay, this is gonna be a war.
Yeah, yeah,
And they always turn out to be wars.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
always turn out to be wars.
Get this man in there with Michael Chandler.
Ooh,
Make it
bro.
happen.
A crazy like fight would be against Rufy, bro.
That's what I'm
Put him
saying.
in there with Rufy.
Something like that. That'd
Just
be
just
good.
something where you're like, don't let someone just wrestle this guy, please. Not that he can't wrestle, but let him
Yeah.
stand up.
No, I agree.
Just
That you're
throw
gonna get the
him.
most fun out of it when you do that.
Oh,
So
100%.
yeah, Nazim Sadikov rocks. Moving on to welterweight, Sam Patterson. Uh, this guy is pretty cool. This guy was kind of he snuck up on me. I was watching this guy and it was like, oh, just seeing him do his thing. He looked impressive on the Contender Series when he got that rear naked choke win. But then
Oh yeah.
losing to Ashmos, that was kind of like, oh, maybe this dude isn't who we think he's gonna be. But then turning around and proving in those last like 4 fights that this guy is dangerous. He's kind of a finishing machine.
Finishing all of them.
Yeah,
He's
and like
finishing everything.
and a variety too. Like same deal almost with Nazim Sadikov of like he can submit people and he can strike with them. He I think this guy's got it, man. I really do think this guy might have. He wasn't even on my radar like last year, to be honest with you.
No, for sure. No, this is a guy that kind of just snuck up in 2025. And like he had a couple of decent wins, but these last two fights that he's had, he's just looked so good.
Yeah,
And that fight with Trey Waters, if you don't know, I'm a fairly big Trey Waters fan. For whatever reason. But I was so convinced. I was like, dude, Trey Waters is huge. He's like 6'5" at 85. And I know Sam Patterson's big too. But I was like, this is gonna be a test. And he just, I mean, it really dominated that fight. The stand up looked insane. He was so quick. He was landing all the counters, everything he needed to. And it's, like I said, he's still very big. He's 6'3" for 85, which is pretty good, or 70. I'm sorry.
yeah,
It's very good.
yeah,
But dude, he looked so good against Trey Water, a guy that was bigger than him, and that's really the only dude I think bigger than him at 70. Because I know Trey Waters is the biggest welterweight on the roster, but dude,
yeah,
an English guy, clean kickboxing, like you said, finishing machine. This guy has a lot, and this is another guy that there's so many fun fights at 70 for him
yeah,
that I'm very excited to see where this goes, especially if he can keep finishing these fights. I do like how you said that you brought up that loss after the Contender Series in his debut,
yeah,
but I'm almost believing that might be necessary for some of these guys. You go undefeated, you don't really lose much, and then you
yeah.
step up into the big leagues and you feel that process out, and then you come back stronger, and that's definitely what Sam Patterson has done.
Yes, I completely agree. I think that a lot of times for these young contenders, a loss can really be a defining moment that makes them that much better. It really is.
Oh,
It's a good thing rather than a bad thing. I think we kind of saw that with Peyton Talbot in his last fight. Um,
yeah. Yep.
Losing in the grappling and then coming back looking very good in the grappling in his next fight. Like he's clearly dedicating himself to bettering himself in that way. I think that's exactly what we saw here with Sam Patterson. So excited to see where Sam Patterson goes and what fights that they can make with him. Because if you can get to the rankings, like him versus if MVP actually comes and stays down there, that could be interesting if you're an MVP fan. Or like him versus Ian Gary would be interesting.
Ooh.
Two lanky, well-rounded fighters would be
Yep.
awesome. I mean, yeah,
No, I mean his kickboxing is just as good as anybody's. I think at 70, I think it's just how well he can combine it all together and
yeah,
deal with the pressure of some of the other guys at 70. There's no doubt in his abilities for me.
yeah. Should be entertaining. I look forward to it. Moving on. You want to take away the middleweight pick?
Yes, we got Thibaut Gautier. This guy, I know some people aren't super high on him just due to the competition that he's faced so far,
Mm-hmm.
but I think this guy is the real deal, bro. This guy is huge. Granted, I see I understand the perspective of who has he fought because that is also important. But he's ginormous for 85, has the power. They call him Mini Ngannou, which I 100% understand. But this is another dude that he has shown nothing but good things. Granted, like I said, competition, I understand. But dude, this guy hits for power. I don't even know how he knocked the last dude out. He just kind of threw him over and took his soul out of him.
Yeah,
It's a wild time, and he's finishing all his fights. Also, he is not a dude that is cool with going to the decision with anybody.
yeah,
That guy is going. He's only been to the second round. Well, in the UFC, he's been to the second round only in the Contender Series. Everything else, he's first round finish.
yeah,
This guy has a lot of potential.
yeah. I think you're right too. Like with the level of competition is just definitely not there, so there are still questions. But the fact that he is dispatching these dudes with absolute ease and so quickly and brutally, like that usually is a sign that there's a level of talent there. And he doesn't it doesn't seem like a rebellious Despain situation, where
No,
there's
no.
some glaring awful flaw in his game. Like he seems to be pretty competent all around in this game. So
Oh, 100%. And just the size of this guy, it's insane. He's 23 years old, super young
mhm.
at 85. This guy's bigger than almost every other 85. He's 6'4". Like this guy's ginormous.
Yeah,
And it's just the power is the big X factor on this guy. I think that a lot of guys at 85 don't really have. Like there's a couple guys who are known for their power at 85, but
yeah,
bro, this guy I called it in his last fight against Tristan Vines. When we were watching it together, I was like, dude, give him Joe Pfeiffer.
yeah,
Let's just get this out of the way. These guys both are supposedly the hardest hitting 85ers. Let's let it happen.
yeah,
I think that's an entertaining fight. I think that is a fight that could totally happen also.
yeah,
But I think the rankings are very soon in this guy's future. Maybe one fight away at the max, in my opinion.
yeah. I think it certainly seems like there's promise there. So I'm excited to see going forward if he can kind of live up to the expectations that everyone has.
Oh,
Yeah,
I 100% agree. Then once again, fun fights. There's some guys that you just are not excited to watch fights. I think, or all these guys that we've named, nobody complains when these guys are on the prelims or anything like that.
yeah. I agree. They're
So
starting to be like when people see it, they're like, ooh, can't wait to watch
yeah,
this
like
guy.
let's see what this guy does.
Yeah,
But no, I'm very excited about Atiba Gati's future. 23 years old is crazy too. By the way, I did not realize he was that young.
yeah. Bright route ahead. Moving on. Sound the bias alarm. Sound the cope alarm. Because I'm here to fucking glaze Jiang Ming Yang once again. Surprise,
Oh,
surprise. I need to dispel the hate that's being put on the Mountain Tiger's name, okay? This dude is still one of, if not the best prospect at light heavyweight. I'm sick of this. Bro gets kicked in his perennial nerve. When it happens to Sean O'Malley, everyone's like, "Oh, Cheeto fluked the win. Cheeto fluked the win. It wasn't a real loss." But then it happens to Zhang Ming Yang, and all of a sudden, oh, Zhang Ming Yang's a bum. Zhang Ming Yang's a bum. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it.
I,
But
I
being
would
real,
like
I
to.
do think this guy genuinely is just very talented and dangerous. And if nothing else, like, there may be holes in his game, but the guy is made to stop fights. His grappling is good. His striking is great. He's got a very good anti sort of boxing game, and when he gets into the clinch, his elbows are so dangerous. Chances are too that most of the time he's not going to be fighting somebody with biological, traits that are better than him, like fucking Johnny Walker in his freak build. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to encounter another Johnny Walker. He should be okay. I think that, like, you think about, like, put Zhang Ming Yang up against Nikita Krylov. Who's winning that? Zhang Ming Yang is going to fucking win that. Honestly, and I hate to say this, put Zhang Ming Yang up against Dominic Reyes. I think we know how that's going to go.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's kind of settled now.
yeah. It's one of those things. I think this guy can totally get. I don't know if he's like champion material for sure, but I think this guy is definitely making it into the top 10, top 7, at least,
Mhm.
maybe even higher. I
I
genuinely
think
do
that's
think
a
Zhang Ming Yang is that good.
reasonable. I think that's a reasonable expectation. You've always been so high on this guy, and I've always been kind of iffy. And I was just starting to be like, okay, this Johnny Walker fight, like, I definitely picked him against Johnny Walker. And I
Yeah.
will say that there is not a worse guy in the UFC to lose to than Johnny
It is
Walker,
such a
especially in
bad
that way.
loss. It is such a bad
It
loss.
is it is an awful loss. And I think that that's a lot of the issue that people are having with this is that
Mhm.
like you said, when Sean O'Malley got kicked in his leg and the nerve, dude, it's against Cheeto, whatever. There's some Cheeto fans. I don't know if there's any Johnny Walker fans, bro.
No.
Everyone just talks shit about Johnny Walker
Yeah.
to the point where it's like this guy's cooked because he lost. If it
Yeah.
was anybody, and I genuinely mean anybody else except for Johnny Walker, that would be an understandable loss.
Yeah, I think you're so
But
right. It's
I
the fact that it's the name. It is the fucking meme that is Johnny Walker. It makes it such
it
a
is so
bad
true,
loss. It doesn't even matter
dude.
that he was winning the entire fight up until he got kicked. It does none of that matters at all because it's
Bro, I
Johnny
want to go
Walker.
back to the days that Johnny Walker was one of the best prospects in the UFC, bro. I miss those days.
That was some crazy times, dude.
I love me some good Johnny Walker love. It's so goofy,
It is
but
so goofy.
no, I I'm coming around on Zhang Yang. I'm understanding what you're saying. You know, kind
Hmm.
of. I see the potential. I do think that a fair assessment is the 7 to 10 range in the rankings.
Yeah.
But another guy that no matter who he fights, he has a chance. I think the striking and just the ability to finish fights that he has and the power,
Hmm.
he could take anybody at 205 for sure.
Yeah.
It would be
I
tougher against them, but
I
yeah,
I think we're
I,
gonna see
I
him have a pretty good bounce back in this next fight.
yeah, no, I agree. How old is he? I know
That's
you
a
got
great
the stats
question.
up.
He's 27, so he's still pretty young too.
Okay, yeah, especially at 205, that's fine.
Yeah. I think Zhang
No,
Liang's gonna do good. So thank you everyone for bearing with me while I just had to get my glazing out of the way. But I genuinely do believe that like everything aside, despite the loss to Johnny Walker, I think this dude is still good, and I think he's gonna go far. So
mm,
moving on to the final pick of the evening, the
there we
heavyweight.
go. Heavyweight Walter Walker. Speaking of Johnny Walker, we got his brother as the best prospect in heavyweight, and I was looking at the rankings in this, and I had to kind of put my heavyweight cap to the side because there's a lot of heavyweights that I really like right now, but they all have like one fight, two fights in the UFC, not even just the rankings, which is what's crazy. Like you get into the top 15 with one fight.
Yeah.
But this is the only guy that I think is, and granted, Walter Walker is ranked. This is the one guy I think, or well, I guess Zhang Yang's ranked, but this is the one guy at heavyweight that has looked super promising, but hasn't lost a bunch of fights or hasn't been knocked out brutally, kind of thing, or who just has more than a fight. It's kind of a weird spot in heavyweight, like it always is, to pick prospects because you got guys making their debut in the top 10 kind of thing.
Yep.
And what I really like about Walter Walker is the thing about him is just that he goes for submissions. Like he's not necessarily really trying to knock you out. He's trying to rip your knees up, which is horrifying. This guy's like 6'6" or something.
Yeah.
Like this guy is this monster that wants to rip your legs apart, and something about that makes me very happy.
Yeah.
I just I like the Walter Walker. I'm not a huge Walter Walker fan though, but I do think that if there's a guy right now in the UFC in the heavyweight division, it would have to be Walter Walker as the best prospect.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good. He's pretty, all things considered, he's pretty fit. He's got decent cardio. I think the fact that in for like 3 fights in a row, he's been able to secure a heel hook on people,
Yeah.
knowing that that's his thing, consecutively more and more each fight, like it shows a
Yeah.
level of him just being able to bully his opponent and do what he wants to do, and I think that is inherently kind of impressive. So
It
that is
is.
worth paying attention to, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think Mo Usman dodged a bullet on this one, pulling out of that fight. I think Mo Usman knew what was up,
Yeah.
and it, you know, it, I think there's interesting fights just because this is another guy that whoever he fights, it's like, is he really just going to continue to go to the ground and try to grab knees and try to grab your feet, whatever's going on? I I I just want to see more out of all the heavyweights. It's hard for me to like really narrow anything down in heavyweight when everyone has like two fights or they've been there for 20 fights. It's kind of like a
Yeah,
really tough spot.
it
We're in
is.
a really rough, like these next couple years in heavyweight is going to be really tough until we can get some more prospects that are proven, because we got a lot of guys, Ante Delia, the Brando guy that you were
Yep.
talking about. Like we got a lot of guys who are one fight in who looked super impressive, but
Yeah.
they had one fight. So
Yeah.
this is the only guy that has looked okay. Granted, the the Lucas Bresky loss is not a great thing that he's got on his record, kind of a blemish there. But once again, it's your first fight in the UFC is kind of
Yeah.
anything can happen.
We're in a period where
So
it certainly seems like we're seeing a trend where the fighters that are being signed to the UFC and given opportunities are somewhat athletic in their build,
yeah,
seem to have a little bit better cardio, and don't look like they just stepped off the lawnmower and onto the octagon. So I think that that's a trend, and I think Walter Walker is kind of one of the best examples of that, despite the kind of having the nepotism of being a Johnny Walker's brother. I do think that the dude
yeah,
is kind of living up to like, oh, I actually have skill. I'm a heavyweight and I have skill.
yeah. No, I'm gonna be curious whenever he gets in there with some real competition. I think his best
Agreed.
win right now is probably Kennedy and Zedjikwa.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But dude, I think for sure he was gonna run through Mo Usman. Even
Oh, no
even if he
doubt.
didn't get the heel hook, I think
Yeah,
I think he definitely would have beat Mo Usman.
I agree.
But there's some interesting fights. If we get this guy in there with anybody who could wrestle or grapple, also, which is like two guys in the top 15, which sucks. But
Hmm.
we've seen that any heavyweight who has any ability on the ground has done fairly well
It's
in the
true.
UFC, like in terms of rankings and just winning those fights. Because there's a lot of guys in the UFC that cannot go to the ground. So
It is true.
I like it. I think that he has a high ceiling in the maybe not title bound, but
Yeah,
certainly winnable fights and entertaining. Like I said, the dude's horrifying.
yeah, yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see where he goes from there. So, yeah, everyone, these were our prospects for each weight class. Tell us what your prospects are. Is there anyone that you have your eye on that you think is really gonna do some good work? Especially people coming off a loss that you think is like, I think they're gonna build off of this, or oh, it's this loss is a little overblown, like that kind of stuff. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will see you in the next video. Peace.